But what could be greater than a king?
A hero.
What's going on, everybody? I am here to do a review for probably one of the most anticipated movies of the year, and ironically they waited until the end of the year to release this movie, and that is Aquaman. Man, let me tell you right now, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This movie was damn near flawless in my honest opinion. It was one of my most anticipated films to see all year. It's crazy we had to wait an entire year to actually see the movie, but I have been anticipating seeing Aquaman ever since he made his first appearance in Justice League. Now, where Justice League kind of fell off, you know, kind of being a lackluster film and not being the greatest film, Aquaman as one of the characters definitely stood out the most to me outside of the other characters that were in that film. He definitely was a badass character. Casting Jason Momoa to play Aquaman is probably one of the best casting decisions for any character for any movie I've ever seen in my life. I am familiar with the Aquaman character. He wasn't one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid because I always thought, like, why, you know, Aquaman, they made him look like he was this pretty boy, like, what, like, okay, so he can talk to fish, okay, whatever, what kind of special power is that? But after seeing this movie, I realized Aquaman is more than what meets the eye. So now that I've got that pretty much out of the way, let me give you the synopsis of the film. Basically, the film is about, you know, of course, it's about Aquaman, Arthur Curry, played by Jason Momoa. He's half Atlantean and he's half, I guess you could say half land. I'm not sure exactly how to call it. In the movie, they referred to him as a half-breed because he was part sea, part land. I guess you could put it in that aspect. His mother, played by Nicole Kidman, her name was Atlanta, pronounced like the city, but not spelled like it, was from the sea. She got washed up on the shore. His dad, who was from the land, found her upon the shore because he lived inside of a lighthouse, and he brought her back, ended up getting her pregnant. They had him, and then, you know, everything just kind of went from there. The people from the sea, from Atlantis, wanted her to come back because she was actually supposed to be marrying somebody else. You know, when it comes to royalty, they have people who are set up to get married, and, you know, like arranged marriages. That's what I was looking for. And they wanted her to come back, and basically they said by her procreating with this land person that she committed treason, and basically treason down there in Atlantis is death. So she basically, they had to deal with her accordingly. Because of that, she had to face the consequences, or so people think. I'm not going to try to give too many spoilers in this because I really want y'all to go see this movie. I already talked about her. Let's see, like I said, Jason Momoa, badass. Loved. I don't see anybody else playing Aquaman except him. I've seen him in various films over the year, but this definitely right here is definitely going to be the role that he's going to be remembered for years down the line. That and playing Drago. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. In Game of Thrones, those of you who are familiar with the show, he played in that show he played Daenerys' husband briefly in season 1 before his character got killed off, and I think he's about to be in another show. But Aquaman, Arthur Curry, is definitely going to be the role that he's definitely going to be remembered for years to come, as far as down the line, you know, years from now. Let me see, another character, Mira, Princess Mira, played by what's her name, Amber Heard. That's her name. She kind of reminds me of Scarlett Johansson. Like, if you put them side by side, I swear they could be sisters, and they almost sounded like when they talk, like they could probably play sisters in the movie, maybe somewhere down the line. But she played Princess Mira. I really loved her character because it's almost like her power was that she could, you know, manipulate the water. Minor spoiler alert, there was one part where she was able to extract water out of a substance and use it as a weapon. And it's like, it's crazy. So basically, I'll give you an example. Say you have a drink, like a juice or something like that. We all know that with juices, there's water to, you know, in the juices. She can extract the water from the juice and use it against somebody, or just use it to her advantage. And I thought that was dope as hell. And there was one scene in the movie where she actually showed that ability, and that literally made the damn hairs on my back stand up, because it was just amazing how they put all of that together. So she can do water manipulation, so to speak, with her ability. And one thing I liked about the Atlanteans is they are all strong as hell. Like, it was one part where a bell was falling and was about to crush this kid, and here comes Aquaman. He jumps in and he just kind of bumps the bell and it knocks it across the way so the bell doesn't fall on top of the kid. So it's amazing the strength that the Atlanteans have, and a lot of people think that, oh, because they are in water, that their strength really comes from the water. No, on land mass, they are just as strong. It's just that when they're in the water, their reflexes are a lot faster. You know, they're able to move a little bit faster. Of course, they're able to talk and, you know, communicate and everything like that. And let me get onto this part right here. And I think this is the part that I need to touch on, because this was the part where a lot of people were worried. The underwater sequences in this movie were absolutely phenomenally shot, edited, all of that. Whoever was in charge of the CGI for this movie, they need to get some kind of an award. They need to get a few of them, to be quite honest. Because a lot of people were worried how the underwater sequences was going to work, because it's like, how are you going to film all of this underwater stuff and make it look real? But let me tell you right now, they made this look as natural and realistic as possible. I don't think it could get any better than this. I really do not think that they could do this any better than what they did. If they come back with a sequel, and based on how it ended, they definitely will be having a sequel. I think they need to keep the same team. As a matter of fact, keep the entire same team, the same cast, same team, everybody behind the scenes. Everybody needs to find a way to come back. Warner Brothers, throw as much money their way as much as possible and bring that entire team back, because whoever did the underwater sequences for this film, they get a round of applause from me and everybody else who saw this, because that was the part I think a lot of people were worried about, you know, worrying about seeing if it was going to look real, if it was going to look fake or too overly CGI, but it was just perfect. And I can imagine the budget that they had to use for this film was probably out of this world, just on that part alone, on the editing for this film. Everything else, you know, is nice, but that was the part that everyone wanted to see. I mean, they had battles it looked like Star Wars, like battles under the water. They were shooting beams from the different sea creatures. It was like, y'all can pretty much guess what I'm gonna give this movie as far as a rating by the end of this review. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but let me keep on going. Now, I think this is another part that a lot of people wanted me to talk about, and that was Black Manta. Excuse me. Black Manta, who, as everyone knows who follows the comic, is one of Aquaman's his arch nemesis. Now, you have your nemesis and you have your arch nemesis. Your nemesis is someone that comes and goes, like probably comes maybe one time and that's it. You may never see him again. Arch nemesis is someone that keeps coming back over and over and over again. Sort of like how Joker is to Batman. I think that's the best way to put it. I really loved this character. At first, I was like, how does he fit into the sequence and everything like that? But when you see the movie, you see why he's fighting. He actually is he's a pirate. And he goes around and he basically goes and steals things, and he thinks he's probably doing this for the greater good. You know, sometimes the cliche type of villain storyline, but he thinks that he's doing the greater good. And, you know, he has a run-in with Arthur Curry. Something happens. I'm not going to tell you what happens, and that would lead him into wanting to seek revenge. And then after that, all he wants to do is just kill Aquaman. Like, that's his ultimate goal. But when he came in the scene and he had his Black Manta suit on, that has to be some of the best transfer or adaptation from comic to screen I've ever seen. If you actually see a picture of Black Manta in the comic and then look at him in the movie, it's like a literally like a side-by-side comparison that you could just mash together as one and say they got it spot on. Like, that's why I said the behind-the-scenes people are just as good as the people that was in front of the camera for this movie. I swear to God, this movie was so good. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I'm saying that this movie is a must-see. But based on how this movie ended, I would definitely say that Black Manta will probably have a bigger part. I'm going to say this. His part wasn't as big as I wish it could have been, but I understand that this is an introduction to his character, and there was another bigger threat outside of him in this film. But this is definitely a good year. I'm sorry about that. The lights caught off on my car. But I would say that he was definitely that this has been a good year, not only for black superheroes but also for black villains. I mean, you had Killmonger and Black Panther. You have, if you watch Black Lightning, Tobias Well, and now you have Black Manta in Aquaman. So it's definitely been a good year for not only superheroes but also black superheroes, but also black villains in superhero shows and movies, which is also, like, you know, something that also rarely gets seen, where they actually have a reason for why they're doing what they're doing, but they're also badass and they're not just like annoying or anything like that. But all in all, this movie was very good. You had Willem Dafoe in there, for once not playing a villain, because, you know, he's always playing a villain. If y'all don't know who he is, you know, Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man, and a host of other cast members in this movie. Now, I did see this movie in IMAX. I think I'm gonna make it a thing now to go see a lot of superhero films in IMAX if it's in an IMAX format, which I think most of them they're making for IMAX nowadays. I said I had to see this in IMAX because I wanted to see everything. I wanted to hear everything, and I made sure to sit right in the middle because I saw that as a tip online before I got the ticket. And I heard everything behind me, to the side of me, everything, you know, it was just bright. The colors was just... This movie was just good. This movie was just phenomenal. Rating, a perfect 10. There it is. There it is. I have nothing more to say. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I would definitely see this movie again. I really would. And I highly suggest that, you know, if you're really into comics, or if you like DC, and DC definitely needed this win, they definitely got it. And Jody from Jody's Corner, if you're out there listening to my review right now, and I hope I don't rub you the wrong way when I say this, but I think you might actually agree a little bit. I think Aquaman might be slightly better over Wonder Woman. Because, you know, Wonder Woman was their last, I would say, big win. And that was last year. So that, you know, Justice League, well, that kind of, but Aquaman definitely was very good. It was very good. I would highly suggest that anyone who is into comics or into the character itself, you will not be disappointed. You're going to enjoy this. You're going to love it. It's a very fun movie. It has some comedic parts in there, not too many. They're not going to beat you over the head with that. But it was just an all-around very good, well-shot film. Shout out to the director, James Wan. I think having the right direction and the right directors also make a movie the way that it is. And, you know, people love working with James Wan. Hopefully they bring him back to do the sequel, because there's definitely going to be a part 2. I think I don't know if they announced or if they confirmed it. I saw some people on YouTube talking about Aquaman 2. I'm not sure if there has been a confirmed confirmation as to if there's going to be a sequel. Hopefully there is, because that's wasted opportunity if it's not. And I'm going to be completely honest. I want a sequel after seeing this one. I want an Aquaman part 2, and I want Black Manta to have a bigger part. Someone was asking me, I hope they don't kill Black Manta off, because they have other villains and stuff like that where they'll keep them going and recycling them over and over again. And I think a lot of people was wondering if they were going to do that because they killed Killmonger in Black Panther, but he'll be back. So that's all I have to say. But y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you in the next one.